A talented young football player is living his NFL dream with the Dallas Cowboys. But false rumors about his death show how dangerous fake news can be in the internet age. Marshawn Kneeland is a young professional football player whose hard work and talent earned him a spot in the NFL, but whose name has unfortunately been connected to false information spreading online. Born on July 24, 2001, in Nashville, Tennessee, Marshawn grew up in a city famous for country music and Southern culture. From the time he was a little boy, Marshawn loved playing football and showed natural talent that made him stand out from other kids his age. He was bigger, stronger, and faster than most children, and even his elementary school teachers and coaches could see he had special athletic gifts that could take him far if he worked hard. Growing up in Tennessee meant football was everywhere around him. In the South, football is not just a sport but almost like a religion, with entire communities coming together to watch high school games on Friday nights and college games on Saturdays. Young boys in Tennessee dream about playing football at big universities and maybe someday making it to the NFL, which is the ultimate goal for any football player. Marshawn had those same dreams, but unlike many kids who dream without having real talent, he actually had the size, speed, and skills to make his dreams come true if he was willing to work for it. Marshawn attended high school in Tennessee, where he quickly became one of the best players on his team. He played defensive end, which is a position where you try to tackle the other team's running backs and put pressure on their quarterback. To be good at this position, you need to be big and strong, but also fast and smart enough to read what the other team is trying to do. Marshawn had all these qualities, standing about 6 feet 4 inches tall and weighing around 265 pounds by the time he was finishing high school. But what really made him special was not just his size, but his attitude and effort. He played every single play like it was the most important play of the game, never taking a break or giving up even when he was tired. College football coaches from universities all across the country started watching Marshawn play when he was still in high school. These coaches, called recruiters, travel around looking for the best high school players to offer scholarships to come play at their universities. A scholarship means the university pays for your education, housing, and food in exchange for playing on their football team. This is a huge opportunity for families who could not otherwise afford to send their children to college. Many schools wanted Marshawn to play for them, but after thinking carefully about his options, he chose to attend Western Michigan University in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Western Michigan is not one of the super famous football schools like Alabama or Ohio State that you see on television every week, but it is a good program where Marshawn would get a chance to play right away and show what he could do. Moving from Nashville to Michigan was a big change for a young man who had never lived away from home before. The weather in Michigan is much colder than Tennessee, especially in winter when snow covers the ground for months. But Marshawn was focused on his goal of becoming an NFL player, so he was willing to deal with the cold weather and being far from his family. At Western Michigan, Marshawn worked extremely hard to get better at football. College football is much harder than high school because everyone playing in college was a star at their high school, so the competition is much tougher. Marshawn spent many hours every day in the weight room getting stronger, watching videos of games to study his opponents, and practicing his techniques over and over until they became automatic. His hard work paid off as he became one of the best defensive players in his conference. He made many tackles, which means stopping players who have the ball, and sacks, which means tackling the quarterback before he can throw the ball. By his last year of college, Marshawn was considered one of the top young players who would be ready to try playing in the NFL. The NFL draft happens every April, when the 32 professional football teams take turns choosing college players to join their teams. For players like Marshawn who have worked their whole lives for this chance, draft day is like a dream coming true. In April 2024, the Dallas Cowboys picked Marshawn in the 4th round of the draft. The Cowboys are one of the most famous sports teams in the entire world, with millions of fans and a nickname of America's team. Being chosen by Dallas meant Marshawn would play in a huge stadium in front of massive crowds and national television audiences every week. When Marshawn signed his first contract with the Cowboys, he received several $100,000 guaranteed, with the chance to earn much more if he played well. For someone who grew up in a regular middle-class family, this was life-changing money. Many NFL players talk about how their first big paycheck allows them to help their mothers and families, buying them houses or cars or paying off debts. Marshawn could now afford to buy himself a nice house and a good car, though as a rookie just starting out, He was still learning how to manage money wisely and not waste it on expensive things he did not really need. During the summer of 2024, Marshawn went to his first training camp with the Cowboys. Training camp is where all the players on a team come together before the season starts to practice, learn the team's plays, and compete for spots on the final roster. Going from college to the NFL is a huge jump because every single player in the NFL was a star at their college. The speed of the game is faster, the players are bigger and stronger, and everything is more complicated. Marshawn had to compete against veteran players who had been in the NFL for years and did not want to lose their jobs to a rookie. But Marshawn impressed the coaches with his work ethic and ability, and he made the final roster when the season started, which is a big accomplishment since many players who get drafted do not actually make the team. During his first season with the Cowboys in 2024, Marshawn was learning and adjusting to professional football. Like most rookies, he did not play a lot of minutes in games. He would play on special teams, which are the plays during kickoffs and punts, and occasionally get in on defense when the coaches wanted to give veteran players a rest. He made a few tackles and continued learning and getting better. The coaches said good things about his potential and expected him to play more in future seasons as he gained experience off the football field. Marshawn was adjusting to life as a professional athlete in Dallas, Texas. He lived in a nice apartment or house, though he kept the specific details private. Young NFL players who have not yet earned their big second contracts usually live comfortably, but not in huge mansions like veteran superstars. Marshawn was being smart with his money, knowing that football careers can end suddenly if you get badly injured, so he needed to save and invest wisely. He probably drove a nice car, something sporty and fun, but not the super expensive exotic cars that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars that veteran players with huge contracts can afford. Regarding his personal life and relationships, Marshawn kept things fairly private, which is normal for young players who want to focus on football. There's not much public information about whether he had a girlfriend or was in a serious relationship. Many rookie players choose to keep their romantic lives private and focus intensely on proving they belong in the NFL. The pressure to perform is enormous, and players often decide to keep their personal lives separate from the public attention that comes with playing professional sports. His net worth as of 2025 would be somewhere around several $100,000 to maybe $1 million. This includes his signing bonus, his salary for his first year or two, and possibly some small endorsement deals if any companies paid him to promote their products. While this sounds like a lot of money, it is important to understand that after paying taxes, paying his agent, and covering living expenses, NFL rookies do not actually keep as much as you might think. Many also help support their families, which is wonderful but also means the money does not go as far. Real wealth for NFL players usually comes later if they play well enough to earn a second or third contract worth many millions of dollars. However, here is where the story needs an important correction. As of 2025, Marshawn Kneeland is alive and well, continuing his career with the Dallas Cowboys. There is no cause of death to discuss because he has not died. The question asking about his cause of death appears to be based on false information or confusion with someone else. This is a serious problem that happens often on the internet where fake news and wrong information spread quickly before anyone can correct it. This situation shows how dangerous false information can be, especially about real people. Sometimes people create fake headlines or social media posts claiming that celebrities or athletes have died when they have not. These lies can spread to thousands or millions of people very quickly, causing unnecessary worry and pain for the person's family and friends. In Marshawn's case, he is alive, healthy, and working hard at his NFL career. Spreading false rumors about someone's death is not just wrong, but also very disrespectful to that person and everyone who cares about them. This is an important lesson about being careful with information we see online. Just because something appears on social media or even on a website does not mean it is true. Before believing or sharing information, especially shocking news like someone's death, we should check reliable news sources to verify if it is actually true. Major news organizations like ESPN, major newspapers, and official team websites are much more reliable than random social media posts or unknown websites. Looking at Marshawn's real life as of 2025, he represents the many thousands of young men who work incredibly hard to achieve their dream of playing professional football. The path from being a good high school player to playing in college to getting drafted into the NFL requires amazing dedication, natural athletic talent, mental toughness, and some luck in avoiding serious injuries that could end a career before it starts. Only a tiny percentage of people who play football ever make it to the NFL. So the fact that Marshawn achieved this goal shows how special he is. His daily life as an NFL player involves constant work and recovery because professional football is incredibly demanding on the body. Players spend hours every day at team facilities watching videos of opponents, attending meetings to learn plays, practicing on the field, lifting weights to maintain strength, and receiving medical treatment for all the bumps, bruises, and soreness that comes from such a physical sport. During the football season, which runs from September through January or February, their entire lives revolve around football with very little time for anything else. Even during the off-season in spring and summer, serious players continue training to stay in shape and improve their skills. The pressure on young NFL players is intense. They are competing every day against veteran players who want to keep their jobs and against other young players who want to take their spots on the team. One bad game or one serious injury can end a career before it really gets started. The average NFL career lasts only about 3 years, which means most players never get that big second contract they are working toward. This reality makes every practice and every game extremely important for players like Marshawn who are trying to prove they deserve to stay in the league. Looking to the future, Marshawn's goals probably include getting more playing time in games, developing into a starting player who plays most of the snaps, and eventually earning a big contract that provides financial security for life. If he stays healthy and keeps improving, he could have a long, successful career earning tens of millions of dollars over time. However, he also knows that nothing is guaranteed in football and that he needs to make the most of every opportunity. His story is an inspiring example of achieving dreams through talent and hard work. He came from a regular family, used his athletic ability and dedication to earn a college scholarship, worked incredibly hard to improve, and achieved his goal of playing in the NFL. Whether he becomes a superstar player or has a shorter career as a role player, he has already accomplished something amazing that millions of young football players dream about, but very few ever achieve. Subscribe now to follow more inspiring true stories of young athletes working hard to achieve their dreams in professional sports.